And good morning or good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us on our session today on Velixo, integrating your MYOB Advanced data with the power of Excel. Really great to have you all on board with us for today's session. Just in terms of a little bit of housekeeping, there is a Q&A button within your Zoom interface that you'll see. We encourage you to ask questions using that Q&A feature as we proceed through the session. We will have a dedicated time for questions and answers at the end and look forward to answering all of your questions. I'm delighted today to welcome Chris Miller from Velixo, who is going to be taking the session for us today, sharing all about Velixo and what he has seen other organizations do with the tool to really ensure that they're maximizing the value that they get out of MYOB Advanced and the power of reporting within Microsoft Excel. So Chris, without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to you and look forward to the session. And again, please, everybody who's attending, just don't hesitate to use that Q&A button, and we look forward to having a great session and answering all of your questions. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Stephen, and welcome to everybody from a very rainy, grey Canberra day. Great to have this opportunity just to present Velixo to everybody. On a brief agenda, let's look firstly at why Velixo should be used. Nobody on the presentation has got Velixo. Some of you might have seen it, but from a point of view of how it fits into your world, that's a good place to start. I'll give you an introduction to some of the features of Velixo. It's a very, very powerful tool, okay? And then I'll demonstrate the simplicity and ease of use. As with all tools, there's different levels you can use it at. You can make it incredibly complex, you can make it simple, okay? And at the end, we'll answer your questions, and right at the end, we'll give you some contact details of how you get hold of the various people and where you can get a trial from. Okay, first of all, what is Velixo? Okay, so there's an image there. It's a desktop-based tool that you can receive on your phone as well. It can be used all over. But it's important to distinguish between what manual Excel is and integrated Excel products. Manual Excel, you open your Excel, you cut and paste information, and you do things. Everybody does that, and it occurs in every organization, okay? Integrated Excel products are where information is drawn automatically into your templates, reports, call them what you want, what you would like, and there's a level of integrity and a removal of risk because of that. And that distinction is fundamental in the understanding of where these products fit in. Okay, important from our point of view, and I'll take you through it later. It's fully integrated. Okay, that's critical in understanding. If you do things manually, there's no security. With Velixo, when you log in, your login via Velixo is exactly the same as your login in MYOB Advanced, and so that security comes through. If you can't see something in MYOB Advanced, you cannot see it, and you will not see it in your reports. Okay. The other key thing is you've got access to all the data within your system. So not just payroll and financial data and projects and things, but any data. So you can build a report on any piece of information sitting in MYOB Advanced. In addition to that, if you're using the Velixo functions, and I'll illustrate that to you as well, you can drill right down to base data. So the integration goes two ways. Not only does the security come through, but you can go back into the product with drill down, okay? Because it sits in a Windows type environment, you can automate your reporting, make it dynamic, and you can distribute reports to people very easily and quickly. And depending on time, I might show you how that distribution works, but I'll talk you through it anyway. It's very, very powerful at the general ledger and project level. You've got a whole suite of functions that you use time and time again, and they just make life easy for you. From a point of view of looking at additional things, there are functions that make life easy. I'm not going to go into those today, but know that they're there. If you want to put two disparate sets of data together, well, you can do it. If you want to, do a report that gives you an offset of looking at this quarter to the same quarter last year, it's always difficult to get things working when changing one date. Well, you can do that. Okay, so not only these GL and project functions, but the other really powerful functions. It has the ability to write back All right, so you can build your budgets, you can do your journals, you can do project forecasting, everything, and write it straight back into MYOB Advanced. Finally, the key thing about where Velixo comes in, it just creates efficiencies and removes risk. Wherever you got manual reporting, and I'll go into that in the next slide in a bit more, but it just removes the risk of things going wrong, the reliance on one person having to be there to do things. So that is the fundamental behind Velixo. It's an integrated Excel tool linked directly into your system and gives you the ability to do any reporting out of MYOB Advanced. From a skill level, what do you need? You need Excel skills mainly. Yes, you can get into really fancy stuff, but a fundamental thing, and I'm going to keep my presentation nothing fancy in it. It's all basic skills that I believe that everybody on this webinar has probably got anyway. Okay. Just a little bit about, this is a quote that came in from one of our customers. It says, a great tool made my life 1,000 times easier. Simple quote, but so powerful in its analysis and analogy, really. Just does, it makes life easier. Okay, I want to paint a picture. And while I'm painting this picture, I'd like you to think of your organization, okay? You've all got existing reports in MYOB Advanced. Some of them go far enough, some of them don't go far enough. Some of them people take and dump into Excel and then make them go further. Well, that's where Velixo comes in, all right? Most companies, people have got manual Excel solutions. By that, I'm saying they spend hours and hours working information in Excel. And it comes from a dump, it comes from a trial balance, it might come from all sorts of things. There's no reason to do that. And there's risk attached to that at many different levels, which I could talk about for 10 or 15 minutes. I just don't have the time. Okay. Often in companies, there's a lot of operational and particularly exception reporting. It's just too difficult to do and people don't do it. Well, a tool like this makes it easy. It is not that difficult to do. In every company, there's generally days spent on building the management packs and the board packs every quarter, every month, and generally reliant on one person. And you might get somebody saying, oh, well, I've got this big template that I build that I copy the trial balance in, and it does everything. It does everything until you add a new general ledger account, or you haven't taken it far enough and it does part, but not the other part. And then to distribute it, you take pieces out, it just becomes a nightmare. So a tool like Velixo makes life easy. The next one is an interesting one, and not many people disagree, but there's always panic when the numbers are due. There's a rush. Where's this person? They do the numbers. They've got to be here. Well, it just removes reliance on one individual or two individuals in an organization. When you need the numbers and your reconciliations, everything are done, you push the button and they're there, okay? There's always a risk related to production. In addition to that is what happens, does something go down? Have I got all the information? Mary's been on leave and she hasn't done this, and so I can't do what I've got to do. Well, it just makes life easier. If you consider that situation, I'm sure it occurs in every organization. Okay. All right, what I'm going to show you today, I'm going to take you through the product. I've got 30 minutes. I've used about seven or eight so far, and I want you to see exactly what we can do. Okay, so I'm going to take you through and show you the security and the Velixo integration. Some of it I'll show you, some of it I'll just illustrate to you, but it is phenomenally powerful and key to operation. So somebody says, well, I've got access to this thing and now everybody's going to see the payroll data. No, you won't see the payroll data because you use your login and you won't get to that data in MYOB Advanced, so you're not going to get to it in your report anyway. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to illustrate the rich structure in MYOB Advanced. Okay. The better your structure and the more sophisticated it is, the better your reporting. We're just telling you what's in your system. We cannot tell you things that aren't in your system. Okay. I'm going to show you how we use the functions, and basically that's just Excel. There's no rocket science in it. A little bit of understanding, but literally it's fundamentally an Excel skill. All right. With Velixo, you can make reporting dynamic. Okay, so there are a whole lot of different ways of doing that. You could use an account range. You could use your account classes, which is a unique dimension, if I can call it that, in MYOB Advanced that I haven't seen many other products, and certainly makes life much, much easier. If you think of, say, a reporting across branches and things, one report with Velixo, you have many uses. You can just flick through your branches and it changes, whereas in the standard reporting, you'd need to go back and redo it for another branch and then print it, maybe redo it for another and then print it. With this, it's simple and easy, and I'll just illustrate that to you. Then I want to build a report, and a very simple one. I'm just going to build a trial balance for you, in fact, not a whole trial balance, and show you a little bit of Excel functionality, because a lot of people don't really understand it. They're things that they never use. They say, oh, I'm sophisticated, I can use a VLOOKUP. Yes, you can use a VLOOKUP. There are a million other things to do, but you need to stick to the data analysis side of Excel, and that's where the power is. All right, so I'll build your base of a trial balance. And then I want to show you the final thing is the generic inquiry function, which allows you to go and pick up any generic inquiry in MYOB Advanced. Okay, so you know as well as I do that within MYOB Advanced, you can write a GI, as we call them, on any set of data. You might not be able to write it. You can ask your business partner to write it. But that data can then be brought out and you do things with it. And I want to illustrate that to you. Okay. Here is my MYOB Advanced menu. This is Velixo. It's an Excel add-in, not massive to install, quick and easy, and it connects to the cloud via the connection manager. Now, in this one, here's my connection, right? It's got a green cloud. There's all sorts of things you can do with it, okay? When you open a connection, it has different ways to connect. And from a security point of view, here are your credentials, you put them in, okay? In addition to that, and why I've got an image is I don't have it in this set of data, you can also publish a 2FA, so the single sign-on security. So you can use it with that, or you can use it with standard. It doesn't really matter. So from a security level, you will only see what you need to see, and it operates the way MYOB Advanced operates. Okay. Second thing I want to show you is the structure, just an illustration of how rich MYOB Advanced is. So if we just go down from the top there, Velixo allows you to connect to multiple URLs. It's not a problem. Right? So you can do that. In addition to that, within any URL, you've got multiple tenants. So that's another layer of information where it's segmented, all right? And within every tenant, you've got as many branches as you want, another layer, okay? Then you've got a summary level called your account classes, and everybody's got them. Some people have used them incredibly creatively to create reporting that makes life very easy for people like us or yourselves when you use a tool like Velixo. But they're a summary level, and a lot of the reporting I'm going to show you is at that summary level. When you drill through, you drill first to the summary level, so you can see the GL accounts in it, and then you drill right through into MYOB Advanced, okay? The sub-accounts are pretty awesome, okay? You can have multi-segment. There's no limit to what you have. The only limit you've got is the number of dimensions you've got. You can have 32. The most that we've worked with is about 7 segments, and that customer had 26,500 unique sub-accounts. So you can get pretty sophisticated, pretty big, and the reports operate fine. And then the lowest level you've got is your GL account. So understanding that, you then sort of understand your reporting. Okay, just quickly looking at your data sheet here. When we go in, Velixo has a whole lot of tools in it to be able to just give you a picture of your account. So I'll show you how you drop in your GL accounts and then put a name against it. These are my account classes that you can see. So I'm building a picture for anybody of what their accounts look like. Here are your sub-accounts. Then there's this set of data has got a lot of projects in it as well. I've then also played with different data, and you've got branches. So that's all I've done, but that's a picture of what you can do. All right, so now let's get into the use of actual Velixo. All right. This is a demo company called RapidByte. That's not their logo, but I found that logo sitting on the internet somewhere, and it was free. So I thought, oh, that's a pretty good, nice logo. Okay. I don't go into, from a reporting point of view, I don't do massive fancy reports because I want you to see that this is what you can do very easily. You might have much better skills than I, but this is 10, 15 minutes worth of work to produce this sort of report. Okay. How does it work? You've got all sorts of things in your menu here, but this side here are tools that you use to build reports, and I'll use them in a moment. But in addition to that, you've got drill down and all sorts of things. This report has been done on an account class level, okay? So I know that we are aggregating information. So office supplies here of 3280, that is a function called account turnover. It's connected, and you'll see me use a function when we when I build you a trial balance. Now, a lot of people in training go, this is going to be very difficult, and then they realize that it's just repetitive functions. You just need to know them a little bit, and Excel has a thing in it called IntelliSense that tells you what to do. So it does it for you, and it suggests things to you as well. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, here's my drill down. Okay, so I want to look at my office supplies, and I go to my drill down, and the first level of drill down says, okay, these are the account numbers that we've got under there. All right, if you look to the end here, I've got different branches. I've got Sydney and Melbourne in there. This is the period, and there's the information, okay, on the right hand side. Right, want to go a bit further now, you want to look at maybe the stationary expenses, and you can now view the transactions. It'll take you straight through. I'm not logged in at the moment, so I'm just going to sign in quickly. You can see I'm using a sign in, and it'll go straight to that account. There's the branch. Okay, here's the period, there's the account number, stationary expenses, and it's got one transaction in. Okay, so that drill down is straight through. All right, just minimizing that. Going back here, that's one way of doing it, but very simply, if I close that up, all right, there's a very simple P&L, but it's powerful, and you've got the information. Now to that, it's very easy to link graphics, to do whatever you want to. So a 12-month comparison. All right, let's go to the next one. Here's analysis P&L, very simple. Most companies have a derivative of this. They'll have current month, year to date, all sorts of things. I've just done current month for you. But what I've done is I've said, okay, I told you that it's about one report doing many things. I don't have to go and run it for another period. I literally go and change the period. There it is. And I want period 3, it changes. So the information is all sitting behind this report. It's cached at an aggregate level, and you can change things and do things. Every time you open the report, the cache will rebuild. If you go and change something in MYOB Advanced, want to see it in your report, you just refresh the report, bang, and it does it. And that's how easy it is. Okay, from a point of view of, I've shown you how to change that. Here's another thing. I've got different branches in here. So let's go and look at Christchurch. There's Christchurch. Simple and easy. And there's many ways of doing things. And you know, it can hold everything. What I actually left out of here is I left out your different ledgers, because there's another layer here. Sorry, my mistake. Is your ledgers are incredibly powerful. All right. So you've got your budget ledger, you've got your actual ledger. You can have stat ledgers where you can hold non-financial information. I'm working with a hotel group where their number of rooms are held in a stat ledger, and their occupancy targets are held within a stat ledger because they're non-financial numbers, okay? And you just bring those into your report. Forecasted, so you could have your budgets up front. Every quarter you would forecast to a new ledger. So you're not overwriting the old information, and you've then got a full picture of what you can do, okay? So that's another thing. So now we've got the Christchurch branch now. So let's go to the operating expenses, and now we're going to drill down, and I can go and drill down on, say, advertising there, and it will drill down, and that'll just be wrapped by main, which is the Christchurch branch. It's easy as that, simple and easy. So different levels, you're only drilling to the information that you want. If I now go back to MYOB Advanced, I would then get to the transaction. Okay. So that is just a very simple thing from that point of view. Okay, let's go along. All right, here we've got a distribution list. So you can build distribution lists very simply and set them up, and it'll break up a workbook and send it where you want it. Okay, and very simple and easy to do. If I go and validate that, my Excel's off at the moment, so I'm not going to send it. I don't want things popping up all over my screen. The distribution has been validated, and I literally go and select the column that I want, the row that I want, there it is, and go and distribute the selected row, and it will just email them out quickly and easily. If you can think to the distribution of management reports that take you copy, paste, and send it out, well, this sends it all. Okay. Likewise, from a budget perspective, you can write budgets back straight into it. So this you build as a tool. You might have your turnover from last year. So when you're doing your budgets for next year, you're using last year's turnover and you're applying that and hit the write back, and it goes straight back into the system. Okay, quick and easy. All right. The next thing is here's a dashboard. All right, it's just a very simple set of data. It's basically on sales, and it's using the standard GR called AR invoices and memos. Okay, so we've got a set of data, quick and easy. It looks great. It's just pivot tables and pivot charts. That's all it is, with a whole lot of slices in it. People say, well, where does it come from? It comes from here. All right, so I'm referencing a set of data. You can see the border around it. It uses what's called a dynamic array, and dynamic arrays are really the most fundamental change in Excel since 2010, when they went to 64,000 rows to 1 million rows. Okay. Now, very good IT people say to you, I can just make a connection through Excel straight into MYOB Advanced and pull that data out anyway. Yes, they can. However, what they do is they bring all the data into Excel, and then they will go and filter it for you. That takes time. What this does is it works. This is a function called GI, generic inquiry. It works with the generic inquiry filter. So that filter is applied on extract. So it's much more efficient. It's much easier to use. And in addition to that, it's you and I can use it. You don't need a guru to go and make this work for you. Okay. So that's the simplicity of using your GI function. All right. Let's have a look at the end here. Let me build your trial balance. All right. So what I've done, if you remember the data sheet, I've put my periods in here, and this is a financial period list. If you look in my formula bar that I've done, and I've just dropped it in there. All right. So now I actually want to use that, but I want to show you a bit of Excel while we're going through. So I want to create a drop-down list for that. That is a dynamic array. Okay. So what I've done is I've named the top cell, in other words, the formula. If you go further down, you can see the formula is grayed up because it's dropping one whole set of data from one formula. And I've named that array P_KMJ, and that's all I've done it. And now I want to put a drop-down list in there. How do you do that? I'll go to my data tab, and here is my validation. Okay, and I want a data validation. I don't want any value. I want a list, and the source is equals to P_KMJ. I also don't want to click you to death. Now that'll give me the named range, which is the top cell, which is N4. Doesn't work. I need more than that. I need the whole thing. So if you put a hash after that, you'll now get the whole thing. So here's my drop-down list, and now I can use anything. I might use that one. Okay. All right. Now to building the trial balance. How long does that take? I don't know. Let's have a look. Go to my MYOB Advanced menu. First thing is another one of your list functions. Insert the chart of accounts. I want it there. Bang, goes in. That's also a dynamic array, and you can see that. So most powerful in Excel 365. Okay. Now I want the account name. So I start using the functions from MYOB Advanced. The first one I'm going to use is account name. So I'm going to equals account name. There it is. Double click. This is IntelliSense. It'll always land in the wrong place, just where you can't see things. And I need the connection name. Now I know the connection name is FD in my system. Okay. And the next thing, I hit the comma and it moves through, and you can see account is now bold. It says which account. I want to do it on the account number, and I'll just close the bracket, hit enter, and there's my account number. So just make that a bit wider, And filling that down this is your little fill icon on the bottom right. Double click it and it fills it. Right. So we've now got an account name. Now let's get into a more sophisticated thing. We're not going to do a full trial balance. I just want a period ending balance. Okay. And the period ending balance needs to change as I change my period. So we'll just link it to that. Okay. So let's go equals account beginning. There's account ending balance over there. Double click it. Now you'll see there are a lot more arguments in that than there were before. So the first thing is the connection, FD again. No rocket science there. Next thing is I need the ledger. I've written the ledger in here. So I'm getting actual. I'm not getting budgets. I'm getting my actuals in that month. And I use the absolute key, which is F4. Done. All right. Now we're going saying what account class. I want all account classes because we're not doing it. We're doing it on the account. So we just move past that. There's my account number. Once again, there it is there. And I'm not going to absolute it or anything. If you were going to just copy it across, you would absolute the column and lock it to the column. If you're copying it down and you didn't want it to copy across, you would do it the other way around. So simple. Okay. Have I got sub accounts in here? No, I want the whole lot. But you can see it's telling you what your possible values are. Right. So it gives you best matches, but it also gives you other possible values. I don't want that. Okay, let's go across. What branch? I don't want any branch, but I do want the period. There's my period there. F4, because I need to lock it. Now this is a really powerful part, I think. You've got the ability to look at posted and unposted information. So I just want posted, or you could look at both. I could put a 3 in there. I'm just using a 1. Close the bracket, enter. There's my balance. All right, let's drop that all the way down. Oh, look, I haven't done any formatting on the things, but that's the easy part. And now we go, right, there's a whole lot of zeros in there. I don't want those. So you go to your hide 0 rows. And I'm going to use this thing that says auto hide. Right. So it's now hidden the rows. It hasn't cut them out. They're still there, but it's hidden the rows that have got zeros in them. Now, if I go and change periods and change that down to the 10th period, it unhides and then rehides and gives me the values for that period. So you could then have a change of branch. You could have a change of sub account. The sub account, I say you've got 32 dimensions. By using different parts of the system and different, let's call it wildcards and things, you can do a report on one digit of one segment, if that's what you need. So from my perspective, just recapping, it creates efficiencies. It's not difficult to use. And as a tool, I think, you know, the best way is to do it is to just give it a go, get a trial. The license is provisioned on your URL. Very easy to order trial, and I'll put up a screen a bit later as to you know what how you go about ordering that trial. So from my side, we're almost at time there. So yeah, I hope I've given you a good set of information. And I've got a couple of minutes left. So what I'm going to do, go back here. I'm going to go back to this budget. So okay, so let's change that to 450,000. Right. And let's go and write that budget back. So here's my budget, and I'm going to import that current one, and it just imports it straight into the system. And then you've got it done. So we're there. So that's how the distribution is exactly the same. It's a very simple, easy process. So from a presentation point of view, we're here now. And from our side, thank you very much. Thanks again to Stephen and his team for the opportunity of presenting Velixo to you. Any questions?
So we've got a few questions here, Chris, and anybody else who's got questions, please don't hesitate to use that Q&A button so that we can answer them as we go. Firstly, just a question from Lillian in terms of the report distribution feature. Can you have one report, one Excel workbook and break that up into multiple sheets, or does the whole report go to everybody, Chris?
No, as I said, so if I just go back to that workbook here, you determine which tab. So the budget tab, it will go to one person. You might send the sales dashboard to somebody else. And when you do send it, there's different ways of sending it. If somebody's got a copy of Velixo so they can actually use this report in a useful way, then you send it as an Excel file, or you can send it as an Excel file, removing the Velixo formulas. In that case, it'll write the value you send, write it to a number, and the formula's gone. Or you could remove all formulas and just send people what they need, okay? Or, God forbid, you send your Excel sheet as a PDF. That would kill me, but you can do it, because there are people that do it. I don't know what the none is, but yeah, you could send none to somebody. But say there's all different formats. When they get it, they open it, put their credentials in, particularly if they've got Velixo, and they can now drill into information. So if you think of a board pack, somebody gets their board pack, the sheets that they need, they open it up, and they get to the board meeting. They've now answered all the queries because they can look at detail. Most of a board meeting, most of management meetings, or not most, a lot of the time is people asking questions because they don't have the information at their fingertips. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, that's great, Chris. A bit of a related question here is, what happens if a report is distributed to a user who doesn't have a Velixo license?
Okay, so if you distribute to somebody who doesn't have a Velixo license, then you would send it without the Velixo formulas in it, and then it's Excel. It's plain Excel. They open it. It doesn't have a cache behind it, but it certainly will have all those numbers in it. And whilst the numbers aren't live, from a Velixo perspective, they're actually usable. You can add them up. Your pivot tables will be working. Everything will be working.
Yeah. Another question here in terms of when you add account, what happens? Does it automatically pick up in your account, or do you need to rerun the chart of accounts download, or what's that process, Chris?
Okay, so when you add an account, because we're using a dynamic array, the array will change. So it will pick up when you refresh it, any new accounts, and they will come into your report. So there's 3 different ways of making reports dynamic. You can use an account class. That's the first thing. The second thing is you can use an account range. So you can say my sales account go from 4,000 to 49999, or 4,003 nines, 4,999. And any sales account that's added, if it's added into that range, will automatically come into the report. The third way of adding it is there's a formula called accounts and sub-accounts with history, okay? And basically what that'll do, it will bring in, you can put a range there. So you can put a range of accounts in, it'll only show you the accounts with history, and that's a way of making detailed reporting dynamic as well. So you're not reporting at the summary level as you are with account classes and ranges. You're now at a detailed level, but you've only got those accounts in. So that's how they would come in.
Very good. Another question here in terms of the GI, the generic inquiry module. Does that allow us to combine GL and, for example, detailed data from sales? Is that correct?
Yes, it would. You can certainly have your financial data, and you can have your sales data. You can combine them. You need to have something to combine them on, but there's no limit to what you can do. There's a function called collate, okay, which combine multiple arrays. So any GI comes in as an array, just showing you that. So there's an array. You can see the thing. There's nothing here, but there is certainly, that is your array using it there. Very simple function. It is, but your collate allows you to put these together into one set of data.
Very good. Another question here. One of our attendees has quite a complex budgeting and forecasting process that sits against multiple branches and, of course, multiple sub-accounts as well. Can Velixo handle that complexity and also support the uploading of forecasts into specific forecast ledgers within MYOB Advanced?
Yeah. So your forecast ledgers are budget ledgers, and so we can upload the budget into both, into your standard budget, which everybody seems to have in every MYOB Advanced site. But you could have your forecast ledgers, and as long as they're budget ledgers, yes, you can upload. Because when you do an upload, I'm loading that into budget 2022, but you could have your next ledger called budget 22 forecast period 2. Forecast quarter 2, something like that. And you'd upload directly into that. When it comes to splitting it, yes, you can split it by branch. So easiest way is to take a budget and do it by branch. And then there's no limit to how many sub-accounts you can have. You can have ad infinitum. We've just done a massive one for a company in Adelaide where they have got the most complex sub-account structure. It's not the biggest, not the one I mentioned earlier, but their budget sheet that they use as a tool is now set up. Next year, their budget will take them 10% of the time that it took them this year to create, and the upload is quick and easy, and you really can't miss it. It's easy to do.
Very good. Well, look, I think that is it in terms of questions, Chris. So I'll leave it with you to finish off the session.
Okay. Right. So I really appreciate everybody's time today. There are details. Myself, you can get hold of me. Please just see me as an extension of Kilimanjaro. I'm here to answer everything and anything that everybody's got on Velixo. Stevens is the person at Casey in Australia, and George Cheerin is the contact at Enterprise in New Zealand. And so it's a New Zealand mobile number, the 021. And yeah, please feel free to ask. Just a last note on the trial. It's easy and simple to install. The license is provisioned on your URL. Your account manager can order it. We can order it. But have a go. You know, there's no radical rocket science to it. And most people learn it in a couple of hours. Most people get to play with it in 10, 15 minutes because it's a simple principle that's used time and time again. Yes, you can get very complex with it, but at one level, it's a tool that can really make your life easy and efficient. So from my side, thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Chris. And thank you to all our attendees. A fantastic day, and please don't hesitate to reach out, and we look forward to sort of continuing the journey on Velixo with you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.